Cancer, welcome to your end of May 2019 General Tarot Updates. It's Rena here. Okay. This is the Wild Unknown Tarot deck, so just to let you know. Ooh. I was just remarking in another video that one of the things I like about this is how varied the backgrounds are. And even though you can see like a few of these cards have a lot of black and white, they'd still have different, completely different designs. And then some of them have different colors, like the Sun card there. That I don't know if that Mother of Swords card just fell out. I just decided to choose that one because I was shuffling here behind the camera and it just kind of fell to the ground. So I picked that for that position. All right. The heart of the matter is the Knight of Cups. This can be an offer that is given to you, and based on, let me just bring out the past position card, which is the High Priestess. One of the things I have said is that that I love certain characteristics of this deck, including some of the interesting takes on what the cards mean. This is one of them that is like has my head scratching. I still can't figure out what that's about. Now, if that's supposed to be a crystal ball, then the High Priestess is connected with going within and intuition and things like that. So, but why they have a, I guess it's a tiger, is anyone's guess. But the Page of Cups, or the Knight of Cups, can be a card of an offer, and with the High Priestess in the past position, this can be of a spiritual nature. I'm talking about even professionally, that maybe you have been training as a shaman. What is a priestess? I mean, a literal priestess. That might be someone, if you're a woman, or a priest. Something, a healer, or something along those lines. Of course, it can always be too with some sort of spirit, of artistic ideas. So the point being that this is something that you may have focused on, and now you're seeing results, and you have somebody that wants to hire you, wants to get you to do that kind of thing. This could be like a love interest who happens to be a water sign. You're a water sign, so is Scorpio, and so is Pisces. The higher message is the Sun card, which is definitely one of the most positive cards in the deck, if not the most positive. And it deals with success, healing, love, creativity, children. Pretty much runs the gamut of good stuff. And so as we near the end of the month, we are coming up on Gemini time. And so this is your 12th house. Now, the Sun card could be talking about the fact that your solar return is around the corner, and you have a solar eclipse in your sign. So it might be that between now and then, you're kind of getting ready for that big season. And I think that this is a very important time for you, Cancer, because of the, the North Node / eclipse in your sign, solar eclipse. And of course you have lunar eclipses in Cancer as well, but that's not coming until next January. So focusing on now, this is your new moon, this solar eclipse. So it's going to be very powerful, new beginning for you. if you're born around the 2nd, this is going to be on your actual birthday. So that'll make the next year very significant for you. But as the spiritual message, maybe it's saying something like, this is a long time coming. Maybe you're finally getting recognition for something that you have been involved with for quite a while, and maybe you're doing it as a hobby. Maybe you were a healer, but you only did it for your friends, or a tarot reader, or a, I don't know. Yeah, like even if you had trained for Reiki, and you were always doing it, but you would just do it for free, and you do it for your friends, and you've decided now to take it more seriously and do it as a profession. And by seriously, I don't mean that it's not serious if you're not getting paid for it. I'm just saying that you may want to devote your life to it rather than just do it once in a while. And I think, too, with the Sun card in the context of healing, this can, kind of give you a pat on the back and say, see, it all turned out all right in the end. And even though you had to go through a lot to get to this point, it came out in your favor. And that's kind of what I see with the eclipses north node, which are, connected, the eclipses and the nodes. Being in Cancer, your sign, and your opposite sign of Capricorn, is that there's like destiny with the north node transiting. And so certain things that are meant to happen in your leg of the journey maybe are happening, and it is something that you can step into. Maybe it's not something that you ever anticipated that you would be able to do. And now you realize that you were born to do this, that you're able to do it, and that you're not afraid to kind of step up and accept your greatness. And to me, that's what the sun is too, is like shining your light and showing the world what you have to offer, so that other people, it's not so for your ego's sake, but for your ability to feel that you are contributing on your own terms, not on somebody else's terms. There's like an individuality associated with the Sun card. What crosses you is the Tower, and I don't know if there is an event in your past where you felt like everything went to hell in a handbasket right away, all of a sudden. And, I notice with water signs, it could be like a death of a parent, especially a father. And then it just completely creates a lot of chaos for the child as the child is growing up, because they get the message, they get the memo that life is unpredictable, and that at any moment some kind of serious calamity can befall them. And I think with Cancer, the way that you tend to handle that is by being sometimes overly controlling and overly concerned with material resources, not so that you can live a lavish lifestyle, but so that you can have some kind of a buffer against something like that happening again. But see, the problem with that is that it's a fear-based mentality. And so while it's understandable that if you lived through something unpredictable that you would be like this, it doesn't really, I don't really think it comforts people too much, because they still know that this kind of thing is possible, and they're still afraid of it happening. So if they're in a relationship, they might be afraid that one day it would be over with, even if they have the money to support themselves. There still is that emotional desire for companionship, or whatever you want to call it. So it's kind of an illusion, is what I'm getting at, of thinking that you can protect against all calamities. I was just thinking about this quote quote by Dick Gregory, the late activist, political activist, and comedian. He was a comedian too, but he was also a raw vegan. I don't know if he was at the time of his death, but he was very into that. And I have that book of his where he talked about his live food diet and everything. And I didn't even know anything about that when I got that at a used bookstore or a thrift store. And he said one time, he was talking about how he didn't have health insurance for his family because they were eating raw foods, and they were, and he was like saying that people get insurance because they're living this unhealthy lifestyle, and so they feel like they need it in order to deal with that. And he said, he said something about saving for a rainy day, or always like worried about the future. And he said, if you save for a rainy day, you'll have one. He said something like that. And that always like stuck in the back of my mind. And I thought that was really interesting. And I think that that's something that cancer really does, is that they're looking for, saving for a rainy day. I wonder if people even say that nowadays. It sounds so old-fashioned. But the point being that, yes, maybe you can save for a rainy day, but it's not going to stop the rain from falling. You might have, be well protected and you won't get wet, but you're still going to have to deal with the rain. And the point is that when we make decisions from a fear-based perspective, it seems to me that we cut ourselves off from so much potential. And I'm not talking about health insurance or anything like that. I'm talking about life in general. And so the tower may have been something that really happened to you, but maybe it happened 30 years ago. Or maybe you heard stories from your parents about something like the tower moment that happened for them. And, I think about those people that went through the Great Depression. And my late father was one of them, actually. And they always had this relationship with money that I feel was from that trauma, where it was kind of like fear-based. And they went through a lot of hardship during those years in the 30s. So how can you argue with that when it really happened to them? Well, it's the best thing that I can say is that some people got rich during the Great Depression. If you fear that something in the future could cause you to just have this incredible amount of unhappiness, your present life can just be one decision based on protecting yourself from an imaginary calamity. And this, the sun, even looking at this card, it's so expansive and radiant. And it's like, to me, we have to have faith in the universe. We don't have a choice, or we're just half alive. So it's not about being reckless, but it's about not, being so earthbound all the time, I think. What's coming in are the advice is the Mother of Swords. This is the Queen of Swords. And based on other cards in this reading, you may be having to make a decision about something, and you know that, like I just said, your emotions could get the best of you. And by emotions, I am talking about maybe being afraid, being fear-based. So you might have to really kind of suck it up and realize that you are divinely protected, that it's not something scary. You think that something bad can happen, and you don't realize that something bad can happen if you don't pursue your dreams. Maybe the Sun card is about, yes, more of this. If you have decided not to neglect your art or neglect your spiritual gifts, the universe may be kind of reflecting and basking in that and providing more light to you. But there may be other decisions that you have to make. The Queen of Swords is making those decisions from a very impassionate position. You're not emotional when you're making these decisions. And sure enough, the outcome is the Ace of Swords. I did get this outcome for another sign where you're really seeing things as they are, and you're not in denial, you're not confused, you're not on the fence. Isn't it funny that they have these lightning strikes with this card? And I think the lightning is showing that some of these things may come to you in a flash, where you gain these realizations about maybe some areas where you have kind of played small in your life, Cancer, where you have allowed fear to dictate you. And even like this could even be with love. The Sun card could be, this is true love. But perhaps you've had a relationship, at least one, that ended suddenly, and you may have even wondered, why did this person leave? And it has always haunted you. Well, it's about not taking things too personally. I think what the Queen of Swords does is she realizes that her emotions may have been getting the best of her, and that she has to perceive things with more logic. But she still is a sensitive person and a caring person. She just is more wise, like the owl is supposed to be. Okay, that's what I have for you, Cancer. If you would like a personal reading, the link is below. I hope you have a great rest of May. Take care. Bye.